What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's Mo Beast here again. I know it's a little bit of a different setup right here. Instead of me just sitting in front of the computer talking to the camera, I wanted to switch it up for you guys because I do have a special video. Like I said before in the video before this, I am a VR-centric mainly channel. That's my biggest interest right now in gaming. I do play a lot of flat screen games. I still play retro games, but the channel itself is mainly VR because that's the biggest interest that I have. But like I mentioned before, I wanted to expose this channel to other aspects of video games, so you might see me do something that's not VR centric for the time being. Every here and there, so I want to spice it up a little bit, you know, expose you guys to maybe something you don't know about in video games, because there's so much out there. There's stuff I learn about every single day. Watch so many videos from other people. I learn so many different things. There's always new hardware, new retro stuff, especially. We'll get into it in a little bit. But I kind of wanted to give that heads up a little bit on this channel. I'm not abandoning VR, but I kind of want to switch it up a little bit because I love gaming in general, all aspects of it. And till this day, I do experience new experiences in gaming that I never got to experience before. Now, if you guys have watched my other video before talking about my video game history, you know that this console holds a very special place in my heart, mainly because of the memories that I had with my late father. This was the first console he bought for the house. We played the SNES, NES, and PS1 at friends' houses, the Sega Genesis. We experienced a lot of video games from other people's houses, but this was the first console he bought us. And this was, you know, I never really knew my dad was into video games as a kid, and Super Mario 64, seeing him play it was wild as a kid. I'm like, man, like, I thought I was the child in the family, you know? But when he'd come after work, he would play this and love it. But the main focus of this, you know, video isn't the N64. It's this bad boy. Now, like I said, the N64 does hold a special place in my heart, but this bad boy here was the second console my dad ever bought us, and we took it up a notch in terms of how we gamed. We gamed for hours. We played racing games, sports games, adventure games, everything. And I kind of just took over. He stuck to his genre of gaming, and I just was about everything possible, because this console had the most insane and creative and variety centric library of video games, and a lot of those IPs that came out during the PS2 era, some PS1 also, but mainly the PS2, stick with us till today. You're talking about Ratchet & Clank, God of War, Gran Turismo, there's Resident Evil. I mean, although they were cross-platform, but this bad boy had an insane library of video games, and the goal of this video is building the ultimate PS2 experience. Now, this video is not going to be an exact tutorial on what to do, how to do it. I'm going to show a little bit of the stuff that I got to transform this bad boy into a modern day console as much as possible, and an easier way to play retro video games, and kind of, you know, have a little bit of throwback, because a lot of people can say I can just play on my PC, a laptop, but popping out a console from your childhood and playing everything and modernizing it adds a little bit of nostalgia that gives you that moment. Like, I feel like I'm a kid again, but at the same time, it's not daunting where I have to get all these cables and different things, and it's kind of slow. It kind of modernized it a little bit where it's still enjoyable. Now, this isn't my original PS2 Fat. The original one I had broke. I actually broke it. I took it apart in order to clean the laser. If you guys remember those blue, purple discs, I had NBA Street. It wasn't working, and I read online that if you clean the laser, those discs have a little bit harder time to read if the laser is dirty, and I didn't know how to put it back together, and that's how I ended up with the PS2 Slim. This PS2 is a Japanese version only. I kind of wanted to use this as a case example, because a lot of PS2s and a lot of retro consoles are getting a lot more expensive, especially if you buy them from the US. I have noticed something interesting. A lot of the retro consoles and games from Japan and other countries other than the US, you take this information how you want, are a lot cleaner and in better condition than most US listings. That's what I've noticed. And also, this one is kind of cool. It's an exclusive color. I really like this one. I do have a black one over here, but I wanted to do the blue one because I kind of wanted to make something special. So my advice, if you wanted to do this, use probably an existing PS2, or go on eBay, find a Japanese version PS2. They're a lot cheaper. Maybe if you want one without the cables, you get the cables yourself or get it with the cables. You could, if you want, get the original controllers with it too, but I do have a solution where you might not want to use these because number one, these are even harder to find in good condition, let alone functional. But I do have a solution for this. Let's now get into it. So I have a few things here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing. I will have several tutorial videos that go in depth exactly what to do. I don't want to be the tutorial guy because there's a lot better people out there than I am. It's exactly step by step on what to do. I kind of wanted to expose you guys, show you a little bit of montage of me putting it together, and show you the end result and how my experiences in the use case scenarios for this and who this is for. So another issue of retro gaming is getting a hold of the physical discs of the video games. They're very expensive, and some of them are very rare to find and hard to find in good condition and functional. And if you start getting in down this rabbit hole, you're gonna start wanting to collect a lot of the ones and play a lot of those games. And like I said, you could say you want to use a PC, but then again, we're trying to modernize this. So what we're gonna be doing is using modern day technology to load up the games. So you could use a 3.5 hard drive. They're a lot cheaper, but they are heavier and do make a lot more noise. I'm going to be using a 1 terabyte SSD that I have laying around from an older PC build that I no longer use. I figured I just use it. You could use either or of these options. These are obviously a lot cheaper. Most of us probably have converted to SSDs and NVMEs, or took these old ones out of our PCs. But I mean, these are not that expensive. These are not that expensive either. Now it is, because to buy another one. These are not that expensive. You can buy them on Amazon, Best Buy, anywhere else. They're really cheap. It doesn't have to be the Samsung ones. This is so happens to be the one I had from an older build. Another upgrade we're going to be doing is changing out the fan in the PS2, again to make it quieter and cool a little bit more. And another cool little thing what we're going to be doing is 8BitDo released these controller adapters where you plug into the socket of the controller of the console in the front, and you can connect any Bluetooth device. There's a list here, any Bluetooth device here. So now we have modernized the PS2. We took out a wired controller. We're going to be adding all our games into this little thing and using wireless. Now, there is another issue that a lot of us might have is how do I connect this to my TV? Now, that's a good question. Up on the screen, I'll put some, some solutions and options. What you could do is buy a retro Tink, either 2X or 5X. It is really expensive, and the 4K is coming out. I think had either releases tomorrow or today. I forgot. It is very expensive. Those are upscalers for retro consoles. You kind of benefit out of it where you are able to connect many different consoles that you might own into that upscaler and to connect it to a 1080p, 2K, or 4K monitor. They're really beneficial. I'm not gonna go too much detail into it. That little box or any of those boxes will work with multiple different devices depending on which one you buy. The 5X and the 4K works with every console out there as far as I know. And they'll upscale the image with all the different options and cool little features here and there. You can do your own research on there for that, or you can go the crazier, more expensive route where converting this thing or any other console into an HDMI port, which a lot of people may not feel comfortable doing with soldering. Another solution is there's some cheap options on Amazon where you could buy these the converters from the the white, red, and yellow cables. I don't want to say composite or component. I always confuse them, but you know what I'm talking about. There are ones that are extra adapters, or there are ones that are straight from PS2 to HDMI. I think Hyperkin sells one for the PS2, which is a really good option. And I think HD Retrovisions HD sells them. So those things will be in the comments, description below, and they'll be up on the screen to show you. So that kind of gets out of the way where you're concerned about how do I hook this up to a screen. So I'm done talking here. I'm just gonna start putting this together and show you guys probably a little montage and get back with you guys after I'm done. Alright guys, I just want to catch up with you here real quick. We finished adding the fan to the PS2. As you can see in the back, it came with a 3D printed part that slides right in and fits the power adapter. And now what we're going to be doing is adding the SSD to the expansion bay. Again, the fan and everything that you need for this conversion for the PS2 will be listed in the description box below, along with all the videos that I recommend watching. You can watch more on top of that. And here is the adapter for the SSD or hard drive that you use. It's a replacement for the network adapter for the PS2. If you do have the original one, there are conversion kits where you can take apart the original OEM network adapter and add the SATA ribbon cable to it. There are videos on that. And here are the SSD/hard drive brackets in order to keep the SSD in place and not move around. It fits the width of the expansion bay, and I got a custom one printed by my friend. It had that, you know, extra little touch for it, the PS2 hard drive, and it's easy like that. You just plug it in, and the top part plugs into the PS2. So be very gentle and careful when you plug it into the PS2. You don't have to jam it. It's just a quick little push. If it doesn't align, like I showed you guys in a montage video, the expansion bay metal piece was bent and I had to bend it. It took me a few times to get it right. It was really hard to align everything because mine came damaged and bent. You could buy also damaged PS2s that don't read, the lasers don't read, and convert this. That's another cheap option. You don't really need the laser, and they're really easy to replace. There are a bunch of parts on eBay and Amazon. And here we're just securing the replacement network adapter, and boom, done. You did the hardest part. The next thing what we're going to be doing is adding the controllers. It looks beautiful, by the way. I am loving this blue crystal exclusive variant. And here is the RetroTink 5X. It's the upscaler. I recommend using this component cable if you do have a TV that takes component. Do not use this composite. Composite really makes the image quality look bad. The cables, the component ones, are not that much more expensive. It's as much, probably like $5–10 more if you went with the original cables. The image quality and the text look really bad when you use original cables. And here are the 8BitDo PS2 Bluetooth controller adapters. It's really easy. When you first pair them, you really hold the red button down for like a few seconds on the adapter and put your controller in pairing mode, and it instantly finds it. You can use PS5, PS4, Xbox, and other 8BitDo controllers that they sell. I'm pretty sure there are other ones on the list, but that's the majority of ones I'm going to be using. So I'll probably be using the PS4, PS5, and maybe sometimes Xbox to confuse people. Here I have some of my PS2 games. You're going to need this free McBoot memory card along with the software called OPL to do this, along with a small probably like a 64 or 32 gigabyte USB that you plug at the bottom under the controller adapter to load OPL. Again, all of this information and all the items that you'll need are in the description. The videos go over everything. I'm just giving you a quick rundown of finalizing this build and this mod. And honestly, guys, it's simple as that. I love this thing. I think I'm gonna take it around to show some friends, you know, some family gatherings, show some people that are, you know, huge PS2 enthusiasts. And look how beautiful that is. I got the Cobalt PS5 controller, blue PS4, blue PS2, and that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Comment below what you think if you did this mod, and take care.